Hello and welcome to our channel. I'm grateful to be here, as is the Council of Light, to collaborate in consciousness and to look at pieces that may be holding us back as beings that have been in a veil of forgetfulness for maybe some time and are awakening more and more and more every single day. And in this particular time together, what we'd like to explore is the idea of anywhere in consciousness, maybe deep in the energetic closets that's hidden. So it may not be fully conscious for you as a being, but it's this idea of where we may be holding ourselves back as humans, meaning me, Omaji, and you all as other star seeds incarnate in human form. It's like a resistance. What I'm looking at and what's being shown to me is a resistance to manifesting, creating, having in surplus. So it's like we'll allow ourselves to have just enough to get by, but no excess. And so if you'd like to journey and just kind of peek beyond the curtain, beyond the veil, what might be running behind the scenes, then I encourage you to journey with us. And we're going to maybe crank up the courage a little bit, invite you to crank up the courage to look beyond the veil, to see anything that's been hidden, running in the background, perhaps ancestral or previous incarnations, where it wasn't safe to have, it wasn't safe to create, it wasn't safe to be fully in your alignment, oneness, expression, because that was perceived as too much, too powerful, and it scared some. It wasn't understood. You weren't understood, and therefore it wasn't safe. You were maybe exiled, ostracized, and or killed, harmed. I'm being shown the idea of shunned. And as a being of light that is here to be of service, one of the hardest things that can happen, one of the most challenging aspects of being shunned, is that you don't get to share your gifts. You don't get to serve if people are afraid of you. So as we're kind of peeling the onion here and looking at the different layers, just encouraging you again to be an observer, but to allow emotions, if they arise, to be seen, to be felt. And we're just bringing in some energetic support. And this is always, when we convene in this way, we always craft a really safe, supportive container for you as a being, for your body devas and your teams to energetically heal, shift yourselves in ways that you're ready to. And so we're never doing anything to you or for you. What we offer are energetic invitations for you to shift you. And so I'm actually feeling some pressure in the head. And when I feel it in this particular way, it usually represents unprocessed emotions. And so we're just going to invite the energetic yawn and invite some energetic aspect of you, your body, and your teams to work with the energetic fields, the guides, to set up appropriate healing chambers in the appropriate order, timing, and dimensions, perhaps in debriefs at the end of those incarnations where there was some kind of struggle or strife related to you being all that you can be and being the creator being in full on, not holding back expression. And others didn't understand it, couldn't receive it, couldn't handle it. And in separation consciousness, survival consciousness, people will attack what they don't understand. They'll fear what they don't understand. And so just allowing for a healing, for all those moments in all lifetimes where there was any kind of persecution dynamic play out, that again, from our perspective, everything is an opportunity. It can be used for evolution. It's an opportunity for learning, for vibrational shifts. So just inviting the appropriate healing chambers in the appropriate order, timing, and dimension where you can be with guides and advisors. Your body diva can be with its guides and advisors, team same, to deeply ponder, review all the lessons and to activate the desired harmonic vibrations from those experiences that you're actually after. Maybe it's greater discernment or greater safety inside, not giving the tribe responsibility for our safety, retrieving all responsibility for ourselves, for our safety, for a knowing of our worth and our value, and activating a remembering of our worth and our value, where we don't have to prove anything to anyone, and we definitely don't need to give other people's perception of us any power. So again, whatever we're running in our fields, if we've given others responsibility, their perception of us, responsibility for our safety, then that belief, that it's like an energetic construct, will get validated in our experience. It's like we've plugged into it, we've agreed to it. So the play out will validate what we've agreed to energetically. It doesn't mean it's true. It means, okay, this is what we're wired for. And that lesson or that experience will reflect, because we've literally wired the back end. Just like when you design the back end of a website, whatever you design on the back end gets reflected onto the screen. So the design energetically was for an agreement to persecution or other people's perceptions having power, meaning something in particular about us, not being safe, not being supported, not being connected, not being validated, whatever it was. And we don't have to intellectually know, just recognize that something like that was running. And then the play out, the reflection was, it wasn't safe to ... for others not to perceive us as normal, or for others to think we were too powerful. It's not that it's not safe. It's that if we're wired in some kind of separation consciousness matrix play out, that's what will reflect, and that's what will appear to be true, appear to be the only possibility, when in truth there are infinite possibilities in every moment. So what we're inviting here is for you to milk all those moments in the past, because you don't need to relive them. You've already got the juice from where you experienced it in the past. And so now you can use this present moment as a multidimensional being to set up the appropriate healing to milk every single one of those moments. So imagine setting up millions of chambers, debriefs along the time spiral continuum, where you're deeply in every single one of those moments as a multidimensional being, sitting with guides and advisors, your future self as an ascended master, and milking those moments to hone and evolve yourself energetically and to complete that learning. Check it off the list so that it's no longer echoing into your present moment. You use it for your evolution, you activate the desired vibrations, you move into the appropriate energetic stance and go through the appropriate vibrational transformation. Some part of you knows how, far beyond the mind. You can think of millions of moments, caterpillar to butterfly, caterpillar to butterfly. I'm shifting, I'm energetically transforming, I'm using that experience to energetically transform in those moments, in those debriefs or in those healing chambers, all along the time spiral continuum. and then doing the appropriate energetic cleanup. So I'm not trying to process someone else's stuff or someone else's karma. I'm not holding responsibility for someone else. I'm only holding responsibility for me as a being, evolving me as a being. That's it. I'm only attached to me as a being. Getting all your attachment, your gifts, your wisdom, your mastery, your creative energy back on you. So you're not using your creative energy externally to try to control how others perceive you. That takes a lot of energy, that creative energy that you could be using to create a magnificent life for yourself, magnificent, abundant experience in whatever way you desire. So we're just holding space and helping far beyond the words. You do very thorough processing. And again, the emotions that I was sensing, you can think of it as fuel that you've maybe carried forward from those moments where there was a perceived trauma in the past. And then we don't process the emotion because we want to use it as fuel for the vibrational transformation. And so that emotion for you, your body, your teams is being redirected to those moments in time where you use it as fuel. So it doesn't necessarily have to express in the physical dimension. It can, and it might. You might have some waves of emotion flowing. We encourage you to allow that. But recognize that this type of process that we're bringing in is very conscious, refined, empowered way of processing emotions and using those emotions in an appropriate dimension, where it's much more gentle, much more graceful, much more elegant. And it doesn't have to be a dark night of the soul in the physical realm to get the vibrational transformation you're after. You can do it in this type of way. Again, millions of moments set up, debriefs, healing chambers. We're doing it simultaneously in other realms because we're multidimensional beings. It can all happen in this now moment in different places on the time spiral continuum. And I don't have to effort it in the physical dimension because I'm awake and aware enough to do this type of process where I just hold awareness and I invite and I intend and I consciously choose for that healing to occur in an appropriate way. I'm encircled by beings of love and light, and I'm fully aware and empowered in my process. And I'm shifting me based on what I actually know to be true, which is this was an experience that was contracted and agreed to ahead of time. And everyone involved was after a particular lesson, a particular learning, a particular vibrational shift, which is why we signed up for it. It's why it was played out. It was why we wired for it, for that particular incarnation. And now that we've milked it, used it for our evolution, returned and retrieved all energy fragments appropriately, gotten clean and clear, and then integrated that energetic shift, again, in the appropriate moments in time, in the time spiral continuum, then we can invite it to complete fully. And when it's complete, invite it to ripple and reflect through every appropriate developmental stage to the present moment and beyond. And so part of you is doing this. The mind is not doing this. The mental body is not doing this. Your higher self, if you're choosing it, your higher self in collaboration with guides and advisors is using your energetic self, employing your energetic self to shift you. You shift you. At this point in your evolution, that's what you're after. You want to hold all the cards for yourself. You want to hold your power, not give it away, not be a victim, not be looking for a savior outside of you. You are your own savior. You are your own empowered, enlightened support system Some part of you knows exactly how to do this work. Maybe not your conscious awareness at this level, but lean into the part of you that knows, which is what brought you here, and let it, invite it to do this type of refined and complex multidimensional work that it has mastery of. And some part of your body, Deva, same, has mastery of being a multidimensional being, far beyond the intellect, because it's not linear. It's not linear work. The mind and the intellect will catch up to a semi-understanding of it after the vibrational shift is complete. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Sometimes it's not able to be understood with the intellect, which is why it takes a lot of courage to do this type of work. And you've been working toward this way of being, cultivating the trust within, cultivating the inner guidance, your own inner connection, your own courage. And then we invite a balancing and stabilizing as this completes. Balance and stabilize the electrical magnetic energy in all systems, components, and levels of your being, especially the body, Devas. Update all grids, because you're different now. You want to get current with who you've become. Update all grids, all reference points, all ways in which you perceive and are perceived. Good. So now I'm just going to scan what I was looking at earlier, which is like this resistance to creating I'm asking the guides to also scan and to give me any information. And they're inviting you to do it for you, for yourselves. It's like, just think for a moment of this idea of, I am a multidimensional being that is one with an infinite source, and I can create anything. I do, as a matter of fact, every single day create, maybe unconsciously. And maybe I keep recreating what I've created in the past, but no judgment, just awareness. But just take a moment and feel into that. And is there a layer of disempowerment around it where you feel like, I've tried and I can't really create whatever I want? And so play with this idea that both can be true, that you're aware that you are a multidimensional being, one with an infinite source, and that you have the ability, some part of you has the ability to create whatever you desire. No limits. Does that feel true to you? Now, we're asking, does that feel true? Not, has that been your experience? Two different things. Does that feel like it's true to you? And will you take this moment to choose to agree and align with what's true versus what you may have been experiencing in a lack or a limitation or a fear or not enough or disempowered or not connected? Recognizing that that's the wiring that's wonky. That's not really what's true. And just leaning into what you know to be true. And again, encouraging you to exercise your choice, which is your power in this now moment, if you choose to say out loud, I now choose to agree and align with the truth that I am a multidimensional being, one with an infinite source, and that I have the ability to create whatever I desire. And so it's almost like we're not resisting the what has been. It's just the broken record that's been playing. Inviting you to lean in to your seat of power and to choose now what you would choose to agree with. What do you choose to agree with in spite of what's been showing up in your experience? I choose to know and remember and agree that I'm an infinite creator, one with source. And whatever doesn't allow that, will you release, uncreate it, evolve it, return it, transcend it, transform it, whatever's appropriate. The other piece that's stepping forward is inviting you to affirm, I am more than enough. In this now moment, will you choose to agree and align with the truth of you as more than enough, and to declare that for yourself? I am an infinite being connected to an infinite source, and I am more than enough. And that's what I'm choosing to agree and align with from this moment forward. And whatever doesn't allow that, will you release and uncreate it? Good. And I'm just looking now at the energy. So what's happening now? What I'm still seeing is this little tinge of judgment. It's much more expanded now, by the way, though. Nice work. This little tinge of judgment that is a judgment of being in. Let me ask the guides to help me get really clear. So they're saying it this way, that somewhere there's been an agreement that it's bad to want to have in excess. That's somehow not spiritual, that it's that your having could somehow infringe on someone else's having. So it's this idea of, if I have in excess, then that means someone else has to be in lack. And so that was taught, that was conditioned in various ways. I'm being shown the idea of when we were growing up and we were told to eat all the food on our plate because someone was starving in another country. And being shown the idea of being shamed for, as a child, being like excited about lots of birthday presents or asking, is there more? From just this joy and this joy of having. Not, it wasn't greed. It was unbridled joy of having. But again, this idea of judgment around it, it's seen through the lens of being greedy. And so there's this fear of being judged, of, it's like, if I do allow myself to desire to have whatever I want, or to have in any kind of excess, what's perceived by others, this is coming up again, as an excess, then I'm judged as bad. And so anything else that's coming up around that, where there's this, it's like, it's either us judging, it could be all the above, us judging the having, surplus, or being afraid of being judged by others. So we might be empathically feeling their judgment of us, and they might judge us if we have everything working out and everything in flow, everything in abundance. We might get judged by others that are seeing through a lens of separation. And what if you could allow that to be their experience, their learning, their journey? I'm being reminded of the saying, you know, before you take the log out of your brother's eye, remove the sliver from your own eye. That's their journey to resolve, to roll around in, to eventually use it for their own evolution. It's not really about you. And it doesn't have to mean anything about you. It doesn't have to mean that you are worthy or safe or supported. Not if you don't make it mean that anymore. Like in the past, in separation consciousness, that's what we agreed to, that that's what it would mean if we were judged by others. That somehow we weren't safe, we weren't supported, we weren't connected, we didn't belong. We weren't validated then, we didn't have worth. None of that is true. And so we're just going to bring in some energetic downloads unique to each of you. You can bring it in your own unique way, when only what's meant for you, to begin to let go, transform, transcend, evolve, return any stuff that's not yours around that, or anything you've outgrown that you're ready to retire, around giving the perceptions of others the power to choose for you. It's like the perceptions of others get to decide whether I get to have or not. If others are going to judge me, then I guess I just won't have. If others are going to fear me, then I guess I just won't be in my power. I'll just pretend, I'll just dim my light. I'll pretend to be disconnected and disempowered in order to not offend them, not upset them, not make them mad at me. And you're not making them mad at you. You're not upsetting them. They're choosing to perceive what they perceive, and they're choosing to react in a particular way. It's all their choice. That, again, foundational consciousness, point of inception, free will bestowed on every single being. You only get to choose for you. They get to choose for themselves how they perceive, what they perceive, whether they judge or don't judge, whether they get mad or not mad. None of that's your responsibility. So we return all responsibility back to everyone and everything for their own perceptions, for their own choices, of their reactions, of how they feel, how they interpret. None of that's your job. And retrieve all responsibility for you back, being your free will conscious choice for you as a being to choose whether to be in your power or not, to be in your creation, creator being. It's like I'm being shown creator being outfit. It's like an energetic outfit that you get to step into and be and play in. And that's where your passion is and your joy is. And the joy of, it's like the joy of creation, where you are one with source and you're being what you were designed to be. And that creator being that you truly be is wired to thrive. You are an aspect of divine infinite source. You were created to thrive. You're supposed to live in abundance and overflow, because there's more than enough for every single being. And you having does not take away from another being. They have a choice to function in lack and to vibrate there or not. There is an infinite supply for every single aspect of life that comes directly from source. Your having does not take away from another's. Are you willing to retire, release, evolve, return any of the constructs that have you wired in consciousness to agree to the lack It's like I'm being shown a teeter-totter. It's like a lack construct that has been established in consciousness, almost like a computer virus, where if I have, they don't get to have. That's never been true. It's just not. Infinite supply is infinite supply. Will you now agree to, without needing to completely understand it all with the intellect, because the mind's going to have a lot of hurdles to jump on this one, because there's a lot of conditioning around the teeter-totter. And the mind, it's like I'm being shown boxes within boxes within boxes. So we're only able to perceive what's in our box with the intellect. And what we're inviting you into is not inside any of those boxes. And so it's almost like, will you take the energetic journey out of those boxes so that the mind can eventually catch up and perceive what's actually possible in infinite supply, infinite source, infinite creation, infinite flow, infinite abundance, infinite freedom, infinite support with every breath, because you are one with source. And from that place, from that identification, you create whatever you want. And then you demonstrate to all life what it is to be, what you were created to be and to thrive and to have. And that the teeter-totter doesn't exist. It's an illusion. It's a lie that we've bought into. We don't have to anymore. And so this invitation is to graduate from the separation ways of being in creating and manifesting into creating as one with source, where you remember who you are as that, where you begin to invite that version of you to come online, to step forward, and to begin to dismantle in an elegant, safe, supported, time release way all of the constructs that have been established and the agreements that have been made in the past that have you wired into the experience of yourself in lack, in limitation, in the teeter-totter of consciousness that isn't really real. It will appear to be real if we plug into it, if we wire into it, if we agree to it, if we affirm it. But what do you choose now? What do you choose now? What do you choose now? We're bringing in energetic downloads to support you in your choice. And the answer to your asking. And are you willing to no longer agree to any beliefs, constructs, ideas, concepts around creating, manifesting, and having that function in separation consciousness? And will you allow your higher self to work with your guides, source, to download the new ways of being, definitions, ways of relating to those things that are current for your current level of consciousness? And will you let go of all the empathic judgment of having, judgment of getting to create whatever you want, jealousy, fear of jealousy, whatever that is, we return all of that send information appropriately. Completing those dances. You've mastered them. You have mastery of all those dances in separation consciousness, meaning you dance those dances for a while in order to evolve yourself, and you've done that. And from our perspective now moving forward, those dances will actually no longer evolve you. You've reached a point in your evolution where you just keep going around the merry-go-round, and you're not really garnering more from it. You've already got what you need out of it. And so use it for it's like complete it, use it for your evolution, tie a nice bow around it, and graduate into your next level of living and being in alignment with the oneness way. Creating as one with source is your birthright. You've been finding your way back to it, step by step, choice by choice, lesson by lesson. And this time at this end of cycle, tying up all loose ends, completion, can you take a moment and being in gratitude for all that brought you here, all that you are completing at this time? It's like, oh my gosh, all of that allowed me, all of those trips around the merry-go-round or the hamster wheel, the Ferris wheel, allowed me to get here, to be where I am in consciousness, to be as empowered as I am, to be as awake as I am, to be willing, to have enough courage to shift caterpillar to butterfly into a whole new energetic expression, living next level living as one with source. That's no small thing. And you're a forerunner, you're a way shower. So as you do it, you broadcast the message to all life that it's safe to do it. And eventually, all aspects of life will do it their way, in their own timing, when they're ready. But you stay in your own lane attached to you and just bloom, blossom, remember. And then you are of great service. It's a win-win. Hallmark of the oneness way, the win-win. No teeter-totters in the oneness way. Everybody wins. Everyone benefits. Life supports life. We're just allowing that energetic bridge to be fully crossed that we helped you weave for yourselves with that dialogue, that energetic conversation, and inviting you to bring that in your own way, your new vantage point, your new default of how you relate to you, how you relate to having, thriving, creating for you a life that honors you, and really all areas of life. We invite a balancing and stabilizing of all your energetic fields, updating all grids, all reference points, all ways in which you perceive and are perceived. And this creating as one with source, this energetic conversation, this transmission of light is an energetic invitation and a litmus test, if you will. It's like what it would be like to journey with us for our upcoming series. We helped you in this series to shift a lot for yourselves. If you chose, we helped to guide, to facilitate, to remind you of what your choices are, and provided some energetic support with regard to energetic downloads, remembering, sharing information far beyond the mind. This is our joy to collaborate in this way. This is the foundation of New Earth with regard to roundtable, healthy co-creative collaboration. And our upcoming series, Creating as One with Source, is a 6-week experiential and interactive series that's designed to support each one who takes their seat to fully embody the empowered, aligned, confident, supported, connected, remembering of themselves as a creator being that is one with an infinite source, that is not in resistance to any of its desires or any of its thoughts or any of its abilities. It's not repressing the ability to function and thrive the way it was designed to. So that's really for each one who says yes, takes their seat. And you can learn more about this series at embracingtheinfinite.com in the online store. And we also are offering a special early bird coupon code for those who wish to journey. And that will be good through September 8th. And that will get you a $333 savings off the tuition. So that coupon code that you can use in the online store is called Thrive, THRIVE, because Thrive is the underlying energetic of what is being invited to be remembered throughout that series, throughout this transmission, and throughout the bonus transmission that will be a part of the series. There will be 6 interactive sessions, or excuse me, there will be 6 transmissions. 3 of those will be interactive. And then there'll be a bonus that you receive for enrolling of a 90-minute transmission of light that is all about remembering how to thrive, remembering that you were created to thrive, among other things. And so a total of 7 sessions. And the series begins September 14th and will go through October 19th. There will be live broadcasts, and every other week will be interactive. So if you'd like to journey with us, we'd love to have you as part of that series. And if you listen to this after the fact, you can still receive the benefit of that series through the recordings. It'll still be in our online store, so feel free to check that out. And for those journeying with us in real time, we're going to be including dream time support with that series. So it'll be 3 sessions a week for the duration of those 6 weeks of dream time support. And so you can feel into whether or not it resonates for you to journey with us for that series. And we'd love to have you as part of it. And we're also doing one other transmission that they want me to transmit that information to you for the 999 Stargate on September 9th. So that will be at 3:33 p.m. Central Time, very auspicious time, designed on purpose. And again, if you can't join us live, you can participate through the recording, just as potent. And every time you re-listen to any of these recordings, they're multi-layered, and so you will garner more from them every time you visit. Use your discernment on that. And we always encourage allowing time for integration between the energy work. Okay, we invite a balancing and stabilizing of all your fields, updating all grids, all reference points, all ways in which you perceive and are perceived, And we welcome your feedback regarding this transmission and any other questions, reflections you have, or suggestions for additional topics that we could speak to and provide energetic support around. And we just, the guides are saying for this eclipse season that we're now in the energetic of, we're just holding space for each of you to traverse this in an optimal way and recognize that during this time of thinner veils, things are more malleable. And so this particular corridor that we're in now, that we've been in for really since the Lion's Gate, will continue through the end of October. And if there's something you've been really wanting to shift for you, just recognize that this time is the time that it will be a little bit easier to see deeper into the energetic closet, to get clear around what's ready to shift and to actually shift it. So it's this idea of rolling up your sleeves for this next 2 months to really be the creator being that you be, and to step more into your power, to remember more of who you are in truth to the degree that you choose. As a conscious being evolving at this time, you can make quantum leaps in your evolution that you've been working lifetimes to be ready for. So we hold space for each of you to do that in your own unique way, in a way that's honoring for you, from a place of remembering yourself as an infinite being that is one with an infinite source. We look forward to journeying with you all again soon. And we want to take a moment to say thank you for showing up. Much love.